The first time you see Great Zimbabwe, it feels larger than a human idea. The first time you see Great Zimbabwe, it feels larger than a human idea. It is a city made of stone. It rises from the dry savanna of southern Africa, a testament to a power that once commanded this land. The great stone walls sit on a low hill. They spread across the valley below, built over a long period, beginning around 1100 AD, flourishing until about 1450 AD. For centuries, the wider world did not know who built it. The scale and precision sparked strange and incorrect theories. Today, we know the truth. A remarkable achievement of the ancestors of the Shona people. Not a mere fortress, not a simple village. The stone walls of Great Zimbabwe are its most defining feature. They are enormous and elegant. In some places, they reach a staggering 11 meters in height and are several meters thick at their base. The most remarkable fact about their construction is the complete absence of mortar. The builders did not use any binding agent like cement or mud. Instead, they used dry stone walling. They expertly shaped and stacked granite blocks with incredible care. Each stone was chosen and fitted so perfectly that its weight and position alone have held the walls together for nearly a millennium. The walls are not straight and rigid. They curve and flow across the landscape. They follow the contours of the hills, creating vast, sweeping enclosures. The precision of the stonework at Great Zimbabwe is breathtaking. In later construction, the masons achieved a truly masterful finish. They laid granite blocks in level, even courses, creating smooth, almost polished external walls. The careful fitting of each block meant very few gaps, making the walls incredibly stable and strong. They also used decorative elements, like a chevron pattern along the top of the great enclosure. This was not just functional building, it was architecture meant to impress and convey status. The builders understood aesthetics as well as engineering. Beyond the walls, artifacts speak to the city's symbolic life. The most famous are the 8 carved soapstone birds. These stylized figures, about 40 centimeters tall, were found mounted on pillars and on walls within the ruins. Each bird is unique. Great Zimbabwe was far from an empty monument. It was a bustling city, home to an estimated 10,000 to 20,000 people at its peak. While the elite lived within the grand stone enclosures, the majority of the population resided in the surrounding valley. Their homes were circular structures made from daga, a mixture of clay and gravel, with conical thatched roofs supported by wooden poles. Over time, these organic materials have decayed and disappeared, leaving only the stone foundations and clay floors behind. The stone walls we see today were the skeleton of a much larger living settlement filled with families, craftsmen, and traders. The immense wealth generated by trade was the foundation of the political power at Great Zimbabwe. The rulers, who likely lived within the most impressive stone structures, the hill complex and the great enclosure, controlled the flow of goods. They managed the mining of gold and the hunting of elephants for ivory. By collecting these resources as tribute and directing their trade, they accumulated enormous wealth. This allowed them to finance the construction of the city's monumental walls and to support a court of officials, priests, and soldiers. The city was the administrative and religious heart of a large and powerful kingdom. The layout of the city itself reflects a clear social hierarchy. For a long time, the world was told a false story about Great Zimbabwe. When European hunters, explorers, prospectors encountered the magnificent ruins in the late 19th century, they were astonished. They could not reconcile the grand scale of the city with their prejudiced views of African societies. At the time, a widespread and deeply racist belief held that sub-Saharan Africa had no history of complex civilizations or large-scale construction. These early European visitors simply refused to believe that local people could have built such a sophisticated city. This refusal was not based on evidence, but on deep-seated racial bias. To explain the existence of the ruins, they invented a host of elaborate and fantastical theories. They claimed that Great Zimbabwe must have been built by ancient non-African peoples. The German explorer Karl Mauck One of the first Europeans to see the site in 1871 suggested it was a copy of King Solomon's temple, built by the biblical Queen of Sheba. Others proposed it was the work of ancient Phoenicians, Egyptians, Arabs, lost tribes of Israel. Archaeology eventually corrected the story. The truth of Great Zimbabwe's origins was not found in myths or colonial fantasies, but in the soil and artifacts of the site itself. The first professional archaeologist to challenge the foreign origin theories was David Randall McIver, who excavated at the site in 1905. After careful study, he examined the artifacts found in the deepest, oldest layers. He found that the pottery, tools, and beads were undeniably native in character and of medieval, not ancient, date. He concluded firmly that the city was built by local African people. His findings, however, were largely ignored by the colonial authorities. A generation later, in 1929, another pioneering archaeologist, Gertrude Caton Thompson, led a new, more extensive excavation. Her methods were even more rigorous. She deliberately excavated an area outside the main enclosures to compare the artifacts of the common people with those found inside the elite areas. She also dug a trench beneath one of the main walls to study the foundations. Her findings confirmed Randall McIver's conclusions beyond any doubt. She found no evidence of any foreign occupation. One of the most enduring questions about Great Zimbabwe is why it was abandoned around 1450 AD. After centuries of growth and prosperity, the Great Stone City emptied out. The power that was once concentrated here dispersed, and the capital was deserted. There is no evidence of a violent conquest or a single catastrophic event. Instead, archaeologists believe the decline was a gradual process, likely caused by a combination of several interlocking factors. The city did not fall. It slowly unraveled as its inhabitants moved away over time. One of the most plausible theories points to environmental stress. Supporting a large population of up to 20,000 people would have put immense pressure on the local environment. Over centuries, the land may have become exhausted. Deforestation for firewood and construction, overgrazing by vast herds of cattle. The end of Great Zimbabwe as a capital was not the end of its story. The stone walls remained, silent witnesses to the power that had created them. Today, the site has a profound and multi-layered legacy. It is, first and foremost, a symbol of national identity and pride for the modern nation of Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe took its name from this very site upon its independence in 1980. The word Zimbabwe itself, meaning large houses of stone, anchors the country's identity in this deep, pre-colonial history. The Zimbabwe bird, once a royal emblem, is now the national symbol, appearing on the country's flag, appearing on the country's coat of arms, appearing on the country's currency. The site is also a place of immense historical and archaeological importance. Designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1986, it is recognized as a treasure of global significance. It stands as the largest ancient structure in sub-Saharan Africa, offering invaluable insights into the development of state societies' urbanism, long-distance trade in the region, a new lost world every week.